Hey guys, this is Joshua Broom from winnersandwhiners.com. This is my initial video and I have a tendency to ramble, so I hope you guys kind of bear with me. Anyhow, I'm trying to get this thing right. So let me introduce myself to you out in the YouTube audience. I've been covering sports for the past 7 years in a credential capacity. My wheelhouse is NBA basketball and did some work with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I joined the fine folks over at Winners and Whiners, Stat Salt, and Pick Papa early last year. And right now, I'm helping with the MMA combat vertical, hopefully getting that built up. We have a strong team featuring Winning Willie and Scott Raquel. All right, so I want to say that we have a great team, but also want to segue from that into tonight's topic. And the topic is UFC 172 Fight Night judging, or, in my opinion, lack thereof. Now, the main card was action packed, filled with barn burning fights from some known names such as Alistar Overeem and some up and comers like Song Yadong and Dan Ige. And let me start by first saying that 3 of these 5 fights went to split decision. And I believe Edson Barboza in his 145-pound bantamweight debut was absolutely robbed against Ige. And, Dan, he's a fringe contender. He came out, set the pace. However, I felt Edson picked him apart on the feet. Edson definitely landed the heavier shots and achieved mount. And if the judges were scoring the fight objectively, they would have taken into account the damage that Barboza inflicted on his opponent and would have given the Brazilian, a win to properly reward his performance, which I thought was one of the better performances of the night. He could have been a little more aggressive, but it's easy to see how Barboza could have felt that Ige was going to come out swinging for the fences in the third round, and Barboza, wanted to counteract that by being cautious. However, I feel the judges made the wrong call in this fight, and this is the one glaring weakness that I feel the judges wrought on this night. And, you know, the other 2 split decisions were questionable. I felt Marlon Vera did a little more than Song Yadong. However, Yadong flashed strong hands, good leg kicks. He hit a few kicks to the body, but Marlon Vera was able to impose his will, score some takedowns late, and kind of make things rough and be the bully over the smaller Yadong. I felt that fight could have gone either way, but I felt that Vera pulled it out by, maybe a little more than the slimmest margins. So I'll say the judges are 0 for 2. And next up, the third split decision, tight decision, involved Claudia Gardella and Angela Hill. And these 2 women epitomized everything that is great about mixed martial arts. They totally went to war and left the blood, sweat, and tears, so to say, in the cage, in the octagon. And I feel that Hill edged the fight. However, I would have been fine with a majority draw because Gladella dominated the first round. I think Hill came back in the second round. Her instincts kicked in that second round, and she floored Gardella with some pretty hard shots. And I felt Hill definitely won round 2. Gardella definitely won round 1. And I think in a stand-up battle, round 3, in the deciding moments, Hill did enough to edge her Brazilian counterpart. And, Twitter was on the side of Hill. Hill came in with a nice winning streak in the division. However, that winning streak was rebuked by, what became questionable at best judging. So, I had Hill, who was a massive underdog in this fight, to defeat Gardella, and I felt Hill had the advantage due to her technical prowess and her ability to throw punches and bunches and put together combinations. I felt Gardella had kind of stagnated and might have been a bit small for the division, but she came in and was a powerhouse. Now, looking at those three decisions, like I said earlier, the one robbery, the one bold-faced robbery, was definitely Edson Barboza, and hopefully Edson will be, know, rewarded moving forward. He should be treated like a winner after that fight. I picked Edson to beat Age because, Barboza, he really hadn't lost a major fight in the past, 3 or 4 years unless it was against top tier competition. And I didn't think that Dan posed that competition. And, it was just poor decision, in my opinion. The main event, I thought Alistar Overeem and Walt Harris came out, showed what the heavyweight division is at its finest, just like Gardella and Hill showed what women's MMA is at its finest. And Overeem withstood Harris's early onslaught to come back and, overwhelm his less experienced counterpart with an excellent ground game, excellent jiu-jitsu, and in the end we saw Overeem flattening Harris, basically leaving, Walt with no place to go, and Murgliata had to step in and call a halt to the bout. And big props to the ref for not stopping the fight in the first round after Overeem sustained massive damage from a Harris flurry. UFC 172 concluded what became a historic and enjoyable week of UFC fighting at the ViStar Veteran Memorial Arena. And I have to say that, up until the judges' decisions, which I had picked each of the three losing ends, unfortunately, after having a hot undercard, I had to endure Murphy's Law with these split decision, nods going the way that I didn't think they should, and the way that many on social media didn't think they should. Other than that, just looking at it objectively, I think the action was, you know, everything that a UFC fan could hope for. And I give Dana White all the credit in the world for, looking in the face of this adversity that we're facing, this pandemic, and taking innovative and intelligent measures to sidestep those obstacles, to put on entertainment and keep business going so that we can have live sports, and maybe Dana set a template for the other major organizations moving forward. However, I just want to say, Dana, you need to talk to your judges because they didn't see things the way most of us saw them Saturday night. But in their defense, other than the Barboza fight, they had a task on their hands with the Song and Hill encounters. So, you know, I think that just looking back at the main card, this is how I would have scored the main card. I would have had Marlon Vera 29-28, in a split decision over Song Yadong, and Yadong has just been receiving some ridiculous help from the judges lately. I felt Krzysztof Jotko outclassed Eric Anders throughout their 15-minute encounter. Anders didn't really show enough technique to be placed in with a fighter the caliber of Jotko. And Jotko, who had shown a questionable chin, a couple years back after suffering back-to-back knockouts, came in, protected that chin, showed head movement, which he didn't in his last fight, and he was able to withstand Eric Anders' physical advantages and come away with a technical and well-earned unanimous decision victory. Okay, Barboza, we already know my opinion there. I feel Barboza could have won the fight 30-27. You know, maybe that's just me being a bit bullish on Barboza, but, you know, he should have won the fight no less 29-28, and it shouldn't have gone to a split decision. But again, you cannot leave these fights in the hands of the judges. As far as Gadella and Hill, I feel that fight could have been scored a majority draw. I would have been perfectly fine with that. Could have gone either way, really. But I would have given a majority decision to Angela Hill. And then, you know, props to the referee for not stopping Overeem Harris. Because, we've seen many fighters stopped who have taken far less damage than Overeem did in the first round. And Overeem came back, showed every bit of his 21-year experience in the fight game, was able to sink in those hooks and stop, a legitimate top 10 heavyweight Walt Harris. I feel overall, UFC Fight Night 172 was a great card, you know, overflowing with, even matchups, and it was MMA at its finest. It wasn't, MMA judging at its finest. However, it was MMA at its finest, and it was just beautiful to see, you know, everyone leave it in the octagon and end a historic fight week on a memorable note. All right, coming up on the end of the video, I just want to know what you all think out in YouTube land. Be sure to hit the like button and leave comments. What do you guys think about the judging? Who do you think won the fights? I'd love to hear your opinions. I'd love to, you know, interact and, have a running dialogue. If you want to see more of my work, you can check it out over at the Winners and Whiners, Stat Salt, and Pick Papa family. I've been posting a lot of my work on Pick Papa lately, and you can check out our MMA coverage. And this is Josh Broom from Winners and Whiners signing off, and I just want to say to everyone out there, stay safe, and I hope to talk to you again soon.